I understand what you're saying, but I think that using like a pilot, for example, is kind of a false equivalency, seeing as though you have to go to aviation school, you have to be certified. And I think it's safe to say that none of us go to school or to be a wife or a husband or a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a spouse. We're all just kind of learning as we go. And
And you and
so I
good.
think when you pick a
100%.
partner, I think when you pick a partner, it's because they're completing something that was incomplete before you kind of came in. And I think it's real important to add value and put some respect on her voice. I don't think it's challenging you, because if you're taking her chiming in and offering her her take as a challenge, I think that's more of an ego that
Well,
is
that's not what I'm talking
coming
about,
into the
by the way.
Clout,
conversation.
clout, clout.
So I mean, yeah, he can respond, but I just kind of feel
Yeah,
like, it's not really a thing where she's trying to challenge your authority. But I think just because you pay the bills, it doesn't give you a full authority on everything that goes on in a
right.
house. I think that if you're taking on a partner, that you should give them some type of respect and also some type of
I
authority in the house. It's kind of like, let me just give you an
can I
Hold on,
example, and
Victor.
then
interject?
You're
and
almost
then
up.
I'll digress. So it's kind of like when you're as a mother and I'm parenting. That's like me saying, hey, if you give me a suggestion on parenting, or I didn't like what you did, I didn't like the punishment, I thought it was too harsh, or I didn't think it was this, you have a right to chime in because you're part of that dynamic as a parent. I'm part of the dynamic in the house. We supposed to work together in conjunction with each other. We're not supposed to be working against each other. There's not supposed to be like a reigning authority over anyone. It's supposed to be a team effort.
I hear everything you said, and I don't know if you were listening to me, because I literally said that I premised it by saying that there's no issue with giving suggestions. I was very clear on that. That was the first thing I said. I said, first off, there's never an issue giving suggestions. Suggestion is not the problem. And I stated that there's a difference between suggestion or giving input and questioning authority. Those are not the same thing. Giving a
Okay, but you're
suggestion is saying, hey, giving a suggestion is saying, hey, this is my concern. Hey, can you address my feeling on this? Hey, I feel this way. Questioning is saying, hey, even though you're the person in charge, why are you doing that? Questioning is putting you in a position where you have to explain yourself to me. And what I'm saying is, if you put someone in the position to be the provider or the leader, you should never want to put them in a position to make them feel like they need to explain themselves to you. Now, there's nothing wrong with giving suggestions. There's nothing wrong with asking questions for clarity. But I'm just saying from a male perspective, the moment you make a male, and this is if I'm dealing with a woman or a male, the moment you make a person in a leader position feel as though they have to answer to you, they're going to feel as though you're challenging their authority. This is what's going to happen with police. This is what's going to happen to anybody. If the police say, listen, show me your hands, and you do anything but show your hands, they're going to be, and you ask, why do I need to show my hands? There is no why you need to show your hands. I'm in charge in this situation. Show your hands. That's it. And what happens is I feel like people don't kind of understand. Now, I understand that's an extreme example because we're talking about police, and obviously police have the ability to use force. So I understand it's an extreme example, but I'm only using it to illustrate the idea of authority, because I think that in our community, especially the black community, I feel like there seems to be a problem with seeing black men as an authority figure. It's like whenever we talk about a black man being an authority figure and giving him the respect of not being questioned, the same way you wouldn't question your boss, the same way you wouldn't question the pilot, the same way you wouldn't. Most people don't even question their bus driver. So my whole thing is, if you're not even going to question the bus driver and you can allow that person to take control of what they've been given um, authority over, which is your safety, then I think that you should be willing to do the same thing with a man that you've placed in that position to have authority over your safety, over your well-being, and over your provision. If again, there's nothing wrong with suggestion, but again, questioning is very different from suggestion, and we can go on from there.
So I just want to respond to that real
Hold on with
quick.
that, because I
Like,
did tell
okay.
Chanel she was gonna go, and then we'll come to you. Go ahead, Chanel.
Oh, she could go ahead and go, but I guess I can just, um, I guess some of the thought process that you have, Clout, on that can be a thin line of dictatorship slash controlling, um, because I can understand if you're saying, and I don't think you're saying this, or maybe you are. If you're saying questioning the why, then that's like, oh, you're under my authority. But I don't understand why you have a problem with if your woman says, hey, all right, honey, that's what you want to do. Why are we doing that? Why would you have a problem with explaining that to her? Why do you feel like because you are the leader that you shouldn't have to explain that to nobody?
I don't think
Like,
there's.
why would you not want your
No,
person that's on your
let us
team
finish.
to be on the same page with
I
you?
want to answer her.
I know, but you
Well,
gotta let
I'm
her.
not saying that I would feel like I don't want to explain myself to her or give her any clarity. I'm not saying if you have any questions, it's fuck you, shut the fuck up, do what I say, it's my way, the highway. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that a person in authority still needs a level of respect. Would we agree with that or not? Can we agree on like, does everyone on the panel agree that a person with a certain level
No.
of authority needs a
Paying a
certain
bill
level of
doesn't
respect?
make you an
Now,
authority.
again, so lovely. I feel like again, DJ, that you're not listening because I never mentioned anything about paying bills when I said provide. I've made it clear throughout this entire time we've been talking that I don't equate paying bills and money with providing. We've already stated throughout this entire time that there are multiple ways to provide. I gave a whole list since the beginning of the show, but for some, so I don't think y'all are listening because you brought it back to money. I'm not saying just because a man has money, a woman has to shut up and just do whatever he says. And I know that's the way y'all are trying to frame what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that a person in any position of authority needs a certain level of freedom to have that authority and a certain level of respect in order to do their job. If I run a department and I have people that are supposed to be following my lead in the department and I give them instructions and they're questioning my instructions, that is the enemy of progress. They're not doing their job if they're questioning my instructions. Their job is to make my directives happen. So if I say to my staff, hey guys, we need to meet this quota. Their job is not to ask me why that's the quota. Their job is to be like, okay, let's figure out, team, how we can make this quota happen because our leadership has set this as one of the goals for our team. And that's all I'm trying to say is that there has to be a certain level of respect for leadership. And again, your provider, the person that you chose to be your provider, I would hope is in some type of leadership position over your life because this is the person who you want to make who you want to make decisions for you when you don't want to make decisions. This is the person who you want to be taking care of finances when you don't want to be worried about finances. This is the person who you want to know, make sure that the house, the property is safe while you're with the children, while you're sleeping. So in order for you to rest in your feminine, like how so many women say they want to rest in their feminine, you have to allow him to be in his masculine. And if his masculine is to provide structure and you're fighting against the structure, you're only helping to create confusion. So I'm literally just talking about a basic level of submission here. Again, you can ask questions to a degree, you can make suggestions to a degree, but are you acquiescing to his
Can I
authority
ask a
at the end of
question
the
now?
day?